We're going to show you how to set up the Refuge 4 teepee. There's going to be 4 ways to set it up. Either you can do it with no floor, full floor, half nest, or full nest. To start off with, I'm going to show you how to do it with the full floor. Whether you're setting up the full floor, the full nest, or half nest, you're going to start in a square fashion and begin by staking out each 4 corners. You'll notice this floor is a tub style floor, which means each corner is going to come up. It's best to start out with as much line as possible and drive that stake toward the floor. You can always tighten this later. If you're having a hard time staking these in, pressing it down with a boot or rock is a great way to get a good anchor. As you're pulling each corner, make sure to make it nice and tight. You can think of this as the foundation of your shelter. If you come to a corner that has this doggle and ring, you want to set that up to mimic the tub style. You'll notice there's another one. We're not going to mess with that right now. That will come later as we assemble the canopy of the Refuge. Now go around and give a nice tug to each line lock, and you can see we've established a square for our floor. Is that thing called a doggle or a toggle? What is that? Toggle? Toggle. Before you set up your canopy, take each one of these toggle and rings to assemble them. It's much easier doing that now as opposed to while the canopy's set up. You'll notice here there's 2 toggles. You're going to want to take the furthest one with that ring to mimic that tub style fashion. All right, now it's time for the canopy. To help orient you, one of the toggles in the corner will be red, which will correspond with a red ring. And you'll want to connect each one of those. As you're setting up each 4 corners, you'll start with the red toggle to red ring. Attach that main corner guy line with the line lock and leave a little bit of slack. You'll notice the corners have this black and white pattern, and you'll start with each 4 corners attaching to the stakes that you've already put in the ground. Now we have the canopy essentially on top of the floor. If you were setting up the nest, you would place the center pole to pitch the top of the nest and then the canopy on top. But here with the floor, we're going to move to the step of putting in the carbon fiber poles to pitch the tent. When the Refuge is shipped to you, they'll come in groups of 3. For packability, you can assemble this in 2. The top will have a cap as well as the bottom. And with the bottom associated with the Mtnbonded logo, there'll be many pitch heights. You'll want to start out on the lowest height to begin. We're gonna unzip one of our doors so that we can get the pole within. And you'll notice there is a square on the floor. It's a great place to place that pole, and a cone at the top where you can also place the pole. From here, you're gonna test the strength of your teepee and see if you need to apply additional stakes. You may find you need to have different stakes for the same corner in floor or canopy. That may be due to the terrain. Now, as you have a good solid base, this is a great time to unzip your door. Take your center pole you'll have the bottom notch selected. You can play with higher notches to tighten the walls. If you over tighten, it can pull your stakes out. You'll just want to play with the settings here, something that feels secure. On each face of the Refuge, in the middle, there will also be a place with a guy out line and line lock. Stake them in the ground with plenty of slack in the line. Then you can go in and tighten a little bit as needed. As you're setting up each midpoint stake and guy out line, you'll notice that the floor that you've set up beneath the toggle, there is also a corresponding midpoint guy out. You can simply attach that to the same stake and tighten that guy out. Before we finish things up on the inside, depending on your climate and the area you're in, each of our teepees come with a vent system. So there's a corresponding pole with Velcro to pitch that vent open, which can make a world of difference for condensation within the tent. I'm standing 6'6", got some long arms, so I'm able to reach these vents fairly easy. If you find that you can't, you can go ahead and open the door to give yourself a little bit more space. Also, on all of the Refuge 4 teepees, an option to secure your teepee and create a little bit more space within are these extra external guy out wall lines. If you feel that there's a lot of line, we have a line lock system. As you pull this out, it will shorten it and automatically lock. It's always easier to start loose and then you can tighten. We have these extra guy out points with line locks for if you need a little bit more space area inside, you can stake those out. There's 3 on each side. Now as we finish things up, we'll go ahead and open up one of the doors. There is a door on each side. You can roll up the door, take our toggle and loop, cinch it down to keep things out of the way. And on the inside, you can install these toggle to hook shelving systems to keep important things that you need in a moment's notice, headlamp, phone, etc. And on the inside, you'll notice the last thing that we need to do is attach these toggles to the corresponding rings within the wall of the canopy. This is really going to create a tub-like floor for the shelter, keeping out any water, pests, etc. All the Refuge teepees will come with a stove jack, which is Velcroed down. You can roll this up, and similar to the door, there will be a toggle and loop system that you'll want to get that out of the way as you would make space for your chimney of the stove to come through here. You don't want anything to come in contact with the wall of the tent. In order to cut the right size hole for your stove chimney, the best way to approach it is with a plus or X sign and add the length to each of those cuts if you need a wider diameter instead of guessing a circle shape.